Hi, and welcome to Suburban Land Use Map work with Mr. Mercer on Geography Geeks. Now, in a question such as this, it's, as usual, always best to start off with the street pattern. The street pattern here is clearly curvilinear. This means that the roads are in a curved pattern with cul-de-sacs, otherwise known as dead ends. To explain that description, you would say that this slows traffic down, making for a safer environment, but also that it makes it easier for cars to use the built environment. Unlike in the inner city, where the narrow streets and sharp corners make maneuvering in traffic difficult. Okay, so this is obviously a safer, more family environment. The presence of families means that there will be larger houses. This can be explained by the lower land values, meaning that more space can be used. The house type here is likely to be detached or semi-detached, and these houses would have gardens and garages. Plenty of parking space for multi-car ownership families. So, just by mentioning street pattern and house type alone, you can score several descriptive marks for the built environment and also get the opportunity to talk about several features of explanation relating to the type of people who live here, relating to the land use. So once again, your curvilinear street pattern, a good point to grid reference here would be about here. And for a cul-de-sac, you might want to reference in amongst the streets. There's a good example right here. Take care with your grid references. Make sure they're as accurate as you can manage. You can also refer to the fact that there's more open space. Grid reference that fact. For example, here would be a nice example of open space. You could refer to this area being greenbelt land due to the fact that there's all this open area. Again, this of course relates to the fact that the land is cheaper and that the environment is designed to be more attractive for the families that live there. The close concentration of services found here is interesting. The school and the post office. This could relate to the fact that any other services in this area are actually quite distant, and that given that this is most likely to be a dormitory settlement, in other words, somewhere where people merely go to live, essentially, there will be local services nearby, such as post offices and shops. Refer to transport networks next, and this is an excellent example right here. This A road, and remember you don't need to use a grid reference if you know the name of the road, offers very good commuter routes into the CBD of the city, which is south of this location. So, by following the familiar pattern of talking about street pattern, building type, and transportation infrastructure, and services, you can score rapid description marks, remembering that 2 marks at least in a question like this will be allocated to map evidence. And the explanations always refer to who is living in this environment, why are the buildings so spaced apart, what accounts for the increased open land available. Something to look out for in an area like this would be recreational opportunities, as this also fits into the idea of families living in this area with children, the area having more space for alternative land uses such as recreation. In this map example, a recreational opportunity such as a golf course, for example, doesn't readily present itself. However, you might show the wit to identify this area of woodland as potential walking or dog walking areas. You can see there's a path running through it, and that would make it a very attractive environment to build suburban housing. Identifying the area as suburban would be a descriptive mark in itself. Okay, I hope that's helped. Once again, as with the other areas of the city, you really need to practice on as many different types of maps as you can. And if you do that, then you'll be more prepared for the map that you'll see in the exam, which, as you should know by now, will not be a map that you have seen before. Okay, if you've got any questions, come and find me in class.